As we get older, we all learn that human nature can be far from humane. What separates us from other species is the very thing that causes our downfall. Pride, malice, a tendency for self-destruction. It comes down to how far we are willing to go to secure our place at the top of the food chain, no matter who or what we tread over to do so. The 2009 mockumentary sci-fi film District 9 centers around these ideas of alienation, prejudice, and survival. But even with the weapons we bear and the armor we wear, does the blood we shed still not stain the same color? Produced by one Mr. Peter Jackson and directed by then unknown independent South African film director Neil Blomkamp, the film's events start in 1982 when an alien spaceship arrives over Johannesburg, South Africa. Upon an expedition up to the ship, a population of aliens are discovered, and the South African government at first steps in with good faith to help the alien refugees, but eventually confines them to an internment camp designated District 9. Following 20 years of tension and elevated conflict between humans and aliens, the government contracts out their relocation to corporation Multinational United. Picked to lead the project is our protagonist Wikus van der Merwe, played by Sholto Kople. While visiting District 9 to serve fake eviction notices in order to improve cooperation for relocation among the alien populace, Wikus comes across a makeshift alien chemical lab where he is exposed to an unknown substance and quickly becomes ill. After he collapses at home and his wife takes him to the hospital, he discovers something that no one could be prepared for. He's then taken hostage by his own company for experimentation and ultimately scheduled for dissection. He escapes to the only place he knows where he can hide, only to reunite with the owner of the lab he had previously visited a day before, inside District 9. We learn early on that some of the aliens are smarter than others. This particular alien, with some assistance, had produced fuel needed for a hidden dropship beneath the lab to return the floating mothership that is almost ever present in the wider shots of the film. The two of them make a deal and agree to work together to try and recover the fuel from MNU and return the alien and his son home to find a cure for Wikus' mutation. The shady government-backed corporation acting as the antagonist of the film, Multinational United, or MNU, is also South Africa's largest weapons manufacturer, looking to advance their weapons development by seizing alien weapons that they can't biologically operate as they are genetically encrypted for use only by the aliens. Wikus worked at MNU's Department of Alien Affairs, completely unaware of the brutal treatment and experimentation that the aliens were going through behind the scenes. This depicts the dangers of outsourcing militaries and bureaucracies to private contractors. The maliciousness of MNU exemplifies how all too often these contracts are fulfilled through brutality and extreme prejudice. The visual concept for District 9 is predated by a 6-minute short film called Alive in Joburg that Blomkamp directed in 2006, showcasing the aliens seen in the feature film. In contrast to the plot of District 9, the Joburg aliens are assimilated into the community instead of restricted to the refugee camp. Key roles in the Alive in Joburg are scripted and played out by actors, but Blomkamp also juxtaposes footage of real interviews with Johannesburg residents. Interviewees were asked to share their feelings about the Zimbabwean refugees living in their communities. In the film, the interviewees appear to be referring to the aliens with a large degree of prejudice and fear. To an audience unfamiliar with the cultural conflicts of South Africa at the time, this knowledge shines a blinding light on these subjects. The relocation of the aliens and premise of District 9 was inspired by real events that took place in Cape Town, South Africa. District 6, located near the docks and predominantly black population, had been a thriving residential community since the 1800s. In 1966, the apartheid government declared it a all-whites-only zone. Between 1968 and 1982, over 60,000 residents were forcibly relocated to the Cape Flats area. Considered the dumping ground for undesirables, government officials then declared District 6 a slum, unfit for habitation. All the buildings were destroyed to pave way for the new whites-only infrastructure. District 9 was filmed on location in the Chawela neighborhood of Johannesburg. Chawela was undergoing a forced relocation at the time of filming, with the residents being moved to government-subsidized housing. The shacks depicted in the movie were the actual dwellings of the systematically poverty-stricken residents of Johannesburg. The scenarios depicted in District 9 are ones that unfortunately happen in low-income communities and refugee camps across the globe. Not unlike similar groups of humans, the aliens were placed in a slum without access to basic necessities such as food, medical care, and clean drinking water. Treated as criminals and pariahs, the behavior of the prawns eventually came to reflect their treatment as they were forced to fight over any available resources. This serves only to reinforce the public prejudice against the aliens in a bitter and unceasing cycle of poverty and violence. Themes of xenophobia, social segregation, racism, and classism are all driving forces of District 9. Society refers to the aliens in the films as prawns, which is a derogatory term meant to degrade them as unwanted invaders based on their appearance. Most humans can't directly communicate with them, and although Vicus can thanks to his job, it's only when he starts to lose his humanity that he becomes more tolerant and understanding of the aliens. The labels enforced by the public mirrors the societal racial clashes playing out in today's world, fueled by ignorance and a refusal to see past superficial shields of prejudice. District 9 went on to receive numerous nominations at the Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Film Editing. It still remains one of the best science fiction films of the early 2000s, and is also one of the most self-aware. The issues presented are put on a global scale of importance, spanning different worlds in the process of trying to occupy one Earth together. It goes to show that humanity has a long way to go before even skimming the surface of tolerance and understanding, seeking something greater even beyond the stars. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.